recorded the computer. All right. That was almost embarrassing. I'm glad you guys are here live. The people on the replay won't be able to see my fancy little introduction. So it is worth mentioning. We'll start here again. My journey, where I started learning about new patient marketing and how to fill your practices with patients, actually began inside practices just like yours. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, to visualize what we're going to be talking about today, I want you to think about a pipeline. Now, there's a reason that I'm going to have you think about a pipeline. I wanted you to think about, hey, you've got this big, wide open pipeline that at the beginning of it and at the end of it is designed to find people and send them into your practice. Okay, and in that pipeline, there's always junctions. There's places where they connect. There's things, bends, bobs, weaves, whatever the case may be, places where we have bottlenecks. Okay, so those blocks in that pipeline represent some level of bottleneck. All right, now when the water or the patients, whatever you want to, in this case, this is a metaphor for patients, when it starts to flow through this pipeline, it's really hard to understand what is happening. Okay, because if you look at the very beginning of that pipeline, there's three. So we can say three patients, right? In the middle, there's quite a big bottleneck. And at the end, there's a smaller bottleneck. There's still some friction there, but it seems wide open. And I feel like a lot of times when we're working with clients and they're seeing something that seems like a problem, okay, that's the person at the end of the pipeline saying, hey, I wish we were getting more patients, more leads, whatever the thing is. I wish this was happening more. And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing at the end of this pipeline, at the end of this funnel, whatever the case may be, I'm seeing not as much as I wanted to see. So that's the problem. Okay. What is my point? Your problem, the problem that you're noticing at the end of the pipeline is actually not the problem. All right, we've got a problem that is right here in the middle. We have a lagging metric that you're noticing. Okay, all you see is, hey, right now I'm only seeing one patient come in the door. What is going on? Where the real problem is actually a leading metric. Okay, and were we to look at the problem upstream, we could fix our results downstream. Now, the ability to identify bottlenecks, this is a superpower. All right, this is something that if you're new to marketing or to business, you probably don't even know about this. You probably sit down and you become confused. You're like that guy at the end of the pipeline. You're like, man, we're not making as much revenue. We're not getting as many new patients. Whatever the symptom is, you spend your time confused and confounded by lagging metrics, by lagging results, symptoms. And if you knew that you could identify bottlenecks in your business, in your marketing, you could absolutely fix your business. And almost as quickly, if you've ever unclogged a drain or anything like that, it goes quickly at that point. It's the same effect. When you unclog some of the most common bottlenecks in marketing, sales, and in your business, you can see an almost instantaneous result spit out on the back end. Okay, so you're going to learn today about some of the most common bottlenecks in marketing and in sales. This is, again, we're going to be talking about how to fill your practice with patients. So you guys ready? Let me go ahead and make sure that the chat is working. Go ahead and throw me, yeah, Sam, we're ready to go. Give me something in there. Give me some encouragement. Okay, we've got some chats coming in. Very good. All right, let's go. All right, so part one, how to ensure prospects are qualified before they come into your practice. Okay, we don't want to spend our time, our money, our people, whatever, wasted on unqualified people. So it's funny because a lot of times in my tenure as a marketing person, I hear this phrase over and over and over again. Sam, the lead quality or the reason I split off from my previous agency is the lead quality just wasn't good. The lead quality. Well, I'm about to potentially shake things up a little bit in the way you think. And this is important, the way you think about getting leads for your practice. Okay. Lead quality is a myth. Okay. When I think of lead quality, what I think of is somebody who already has trust and is basically ready to get started. That is that's a quality person. That person, and most likely that person came in via a referral. Okay. In my mind, if you want to amass consistent numbers every single month in new prospects, having a referral program, that's awesome. But in your marketing, that is not going to work. If you want to scale your new patients, you need qualified patients. Okay. Lead quality, the way you think about it, is a myth, and it is a lagging metric. It is something that you see at the end of the pipeline that confuses you, that you don't understand. Okay. So there is an actual formula here. Now, this is what's great about this. We talk about leading, lagging metrics. There's an actual formula to make sure that you're getting the most qualified people for your services. And here it is. Okay. And by the way, in just a minute, I will pull apart those numbers, because I know whenever we start talking numbers and metrics, it gets a little confusing. So don't worry, I'm going to go over that. A 1% click-through rate and a 10 to 20% conversion rate means that you will have leads that are qualified. All right. And what's cool about that, what is very cool about that is you can have new prospects every month amassing in your pipeline, amassing in your database. Month 1 is okay. Month 2, better. 3, even better. 4, amazing. Okay. We want to build a pipeline of these qualified prospects. And so how we're going to do it is finding people specific to your service. 1% click-through rate, a 10 to 20% conversion rate. Now we've jumped right into the meat of how this works. All right. And I've told you something that most agencies will not tell you or don't know. Okay. So let's go ahead and break this down a little bit so you understand. Now, I remember, we learn all these things over time and through experiences. And I remember I was talking with a doc one day. We were doing some stem cell marketing. And if you've been in the game for any length of time, and you've done stem cell, you've offered stem cell services in your practice, that 2, 3, 4 years ago, you could throw up an ad that just said non-surgical solutions to knee pain, and people would just come in the door. It was crazy. Well, about 2 years ago, that really stopped working. What do they say in sales? A tactic known as a tactic blown. So pretty much everybody and their dog got in, started offering stem cells, and now it was no longer novel. It was no longer new. And it got to this point to where it's like, listen, we know we need more patients for these services, for stem cell marketing, for regenerative therapies. But how are we going to get them? How can we find people with just knee pain? And I was on a call one day with a doc, and we were on a Zoom call just like this, and we were talking about this conundrum that we were in. And I looked behind him, and I saw this chair, and I was like, what is that? He said, that's called a Neon Track, and it's to help people with knee pain. He didn't have to go into any type of explanation, because I could tell just by looking at it what it did. And so I said, that's how we're going to get stem cell patients. That's where we're going to get regenerative patients for your practice. And so here is kind of what we want to focus on when we're doing our marketing. This is where the qualified leads strategy starts. So first we want to start with a niche. Who? So if I had back pain, or if I had neck pain, or if I had neuropathy, would I be interested in this device, in this modality? Absolutely not. Okay. So we want to start with a niche who, so knee pain, then match with a niche why. So something that they want, something that maybe would seem obvious to them, something that they're like, hey, I haven't seen that before. It needs to be somewhat novel, right? And this is what we're looking for when we have, by the way, when we have something that fits that criteria, a niche who and a niche why, we have what's called an audience offer match. All right. And we can prove that by the numbers, a 1% click-through rate and a 10 to 20% opt-in rate. Now, what do those numbers mean? All right. This might be kind of surprising to some of you, just because if you think about it, it's such a low barrier, but it's also such a specific barrier. So out of 1,000 people, so 1,000 people, we show your ads to an audience of 1,000 people likely to be in the demographic for knee pain. Only 10 people have to be interested. 10 people out of 1,000. All right. Now, if we have more, that's okay. But the added friction or their qualifying process happens on the back end. Now, we only want 10 to 20% to opt in. What happens if it's lower than 10%? Well, that means that our offer is not good. Okay. We see a lot of this. If you're offering a consultation, something like that, that's not an offer. All right. So you're going to get below a 10% opt-in rate or 20%. Now, why would I put a maximum opt-in rate on a funnel? Wouldn't it be better if we were getting opt-ins at 30, 40, 50%? Wouldn't that be better? That means our leads are probably going to be cheaper. Wouldn't that be better? No, because the higher amount. Now, sometimes there is some fudge. Okay. If I'm getting 25, I'm okay with that. But if we're getting too high of an opt-in rate, that means that our offer is too good. Okay. We're going to get people who are basically seeing what we're offering as, hey, I'm just going to go take advantage of that thing instead of, hey, I need to think about this. I want to see if this is a fit for me. That's where we have to start. All right. And basically what we're looking at when we hit this mark is qualified leads every month. All right. This is a new way I think most of you will have of thinking of getting leads in your practice. It's not all about lead cost, lead volume. Those things are important to pay attention to, but those are lagging metrics. Okay. I have some clinics who get lead costs in the $30 and $40 range, and they monetize it like crazy because they may live in a more expensive area. Like let's say you live in Los Angeles or something like that. Your leads are going to cost more. That is a lagging metric. If you are hitting that 1% click-through rate, the 10 to 20% opt-in rate, those people are qualified for your services. Okay. Let's keep going. All right. So here is where most people go wrong. If we go back to the whole pipeline idea, okay, don't make your marketing so broad that it lets everybody in. Okay. We want to make sure that we're providing some level of filter so we get rid of those unwanted posers. This is, you'll see a lot of situations where people come in and they act like, well, I didn't sign up for this, or what is this about? And or maybe they dodge your calls, whatever it is. Those are posers. Okay. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we're the people who we're paying for, because we're paying ultimately for these leads. The people that we're paying for, you know, the juice is worth the squeeze. So we're getting enough people in the door to, or into our funnel to make it work. Okay. So let's go ahead. We've talked, I think, very theoretically about qualified leads, but I want to show you an example, a practical example, so you can see how this really works. So qualified marketing, let's see how it works in the real world. Okay. Step number one, do we create the ad to a specific person? Well, yeah, I mean, somebody with foot pain or knee pain or neck pain, they're not going to care about this. Okay. So this is specific to people with sciatica pain. Okay. There's box number one. Number two, do we offer something that they might like? So in this case, a free pain relief session. Okay. Now I'm not saying, in fact, as far as free sessions, pretty much in Patient Stream, we offer, I don't think hardly anything that's for free. We usually have some price tag associated with it. But the point here is that we're offering something that people with that particular condition say, okay, that's worth my time and my attention. All right. And then do we give it enough budget to run? Right. So we want to make sure that we're spending at least $40 a day. All right. If we do these things, we're going to get qualified leads. We're going to get qualified people. Okay. That's where we want to start. So here's the point. Okay. If you learn nothing more today, okay, the one thing that you can tattoo on your arm and make sure that you don't ever make this mistake again, that you understand your leading metrics is a 1% click-through rate and a 10 to 20% opt-in rate means you're going to have qualified leads. If there was nothing else you walked away with in that part of our training, just go ahead, tattoo it on you. If you do get a tattoo, send me a picture because that would be pretty phenomenal. Don't really get a tattoo. This is getting weird. All right, let's keep going. All right, part 2, how to pre-frame prospects so they have genuine interest in your services. Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's say tomorrow I send you 50 qualified leads. All right. Is your success a foregone conclusion? Go ahead, grab the chat. Let me know if I send you 50 qualified leads tomorrow. Is your success a foregone conclusion? Yes or no? Go ahead, grab the chat, guys. Let me know. Right. I can't pull up my chat box. I know people are chatting with me right now. Heather, are we getting some good chats here?
Yeah, no, Sunny Gill says no, still need to close.
That's right. I mean, there's a lot left. So yeah, let's get into it. So what is actually missing? You're getting leads. What is the next thing? You know, a follow-up process is extremely important. You need to make sure that you can build value, create appointments that show, okay, and start the process of building trust. This is important, you guys. Okay, so let me start here. Do you want to know why most people don't buy? A lot of you might say, well, these people don't have any money. They're not interested. They're not qualified. If you were maybe beginning at this and you had no experience, you would say things like, no, they're not interested. These leads are never going to convert. Well, no, that is not the case. If you follow step 1, we know, I mean, we have tons of data that prove it to us. Really what's happening is they don't see the value. Now, there's an actual equation for this. This one thing, by the way, I learned this from Alex Hormozi. He's an awesome marketer, awesome business person, really understands sales and marketing and business. And this value equation, I'm telling you right now, this is another one of those things. If you walked away with nothing else from today, this value equation can change the way your practice operates. All right. So the value equation is a 2-part equation, things that we need to improve or increase and things that we need to decrease. All right, let's get started. So on the top side of this fraction, okay, there's 2 primary things that we fail to do and we must do. So number 1 is increasing the dream outcome. Now, what is the dream outcome? Okay. When you think in terms of your life right now, what do you want it to be? I can tell you yesterday, I had a little bit of a health scare. Don't need to go into it. Personally, I had a little bit of a health scare. And I can tell you that I didn't care about anything else other than, hey, I just need to make sure I'm healthy. I need to make sure that everything's okay. People with chronic pain, they're not in a dire situation, meaning, oh, I'm going to die tomorrow, but they are in a situation where they are living with things that they don't have to. They're limiting what they're able to do, like being with their grandkids or, you know, walking, hiking, being with their loved ones, whatever it's keeping them from doing. We need to paint the picture of a dream outcome for that person. That's number 1. Number 2 is a belief and trust in the result. You want to know why most people don't actually end up buying? Is because they've heard the song and dance before, and you haven't communicated to them that they will actually achieve the outcome. Most people are either too timid, too scared, too uncertain in their abilities, or don't even understand their communication necessities to get in there and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Okay. So these things, in order for us to really convey value, we need to increase these things. Now, on the other side of this equation, we also need to talk about things like the amount of time, effort, and sacrifice. We need to decrease the perception of these things. Now, I'm not saying that we manipulate or that we mislead people. Okay. When we talk about time delay, okay, I would think that in speaking in terms of somebody with neuropathy, well, let's talk about how well your neuropathy is going to heal on its own. How long do you think that's going to take? Is it going to take any time at all? It could take years and years and years. I've seen people do so amazing things in just a couple of visits with neuropathy. Okay, so we need to paint the picture. If we want to build value, that the amount of time compared to what they're doing, that we can vastly improve that, decrease the time, effort and sacrifice. Effort and sacrifice. This is going to change for every single service we offer. But, there's a reason why liposuction is a lot easier to sell than exercise and diet. All I can say is think about your service. Think about what you offer. Think about how you can improve. I know a lot of docs who help people with knee pain. And I know there are modalities you can offer. Obviously, injections, that's a big part of your services. Your ability. So Trigenics, a lot of people offering things like Trigenics. These are all things that can decrease the amount of effort and sacrifice that our patients have to make. Okay. If you are looking at this, your goal right now should be, I want to, in fact, take a screenshot of this. I don't care. Take a screenshot of this and put these in 4 quadrants and start brainstorming things that you can do within your practice to start conveying and communicating this to people, and value will be the byproduct of what you're doing. All right. How do we do that? Well, in terms of in your practice, you've got that equation, but what about how do we do that for people who are new, people that we're finding in our marketing? Well, this is where we're going to get into part 2. So qualifying scripts. Now, people hate to be sold, but they love to buy. This is an absolute truth. If you ever, in fact, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the guy was talking about how much he hates it when he goes into a store and the first thing that the attendee comes up and says, "Can I help you today?" Why do people, I don't like that either. Why do we not like that? I mean, it seems like it'd be nice to be helped. We don't like it because it's part of a sales process that we're very familiar with, that we're in tuned with. Okay. And instead of trying to upfront just sell people, make it easy for them to buy. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. The number one mistake that most people make, and this is right in line with that example of the sales or the sales clerk coming up and asking you, can I help you today? The number one mistake that most people in sales make is that they present their product or their service way too early in the process. Way too early in the process. Okay. We want to make sure that here's Gary Bencivenga. Most sales are lost because the salesman or saleswoman presented the product before he or she knew what motivated his prospect. Okay. Scripts are so important. It is easy to get off track. It is easy to just kind of start winging it, as it were. But I'm telling you right now, if you fail to uncover the motivations, build trust, and to qualify your prospects, you're going to fail at converting leads into patients. Okay. Point blank. It won't work. You will have a bad experience. You will blame, by the way, the leads. But the fact of the matter is I could plug those leads into another clinic with the right scripting and they will convert like a machine. And here is the sad reality. I don't want to get into, we started this section of the training with the follow-up process. The sad reality is, and this is statistics, based off of studies, and anecdotally, I've seen this to be very close to the truth. Okay. When it comes to follow-up, like getting leads, only half, so 48% of salespeople ever actually follow up with a prospect. Now, in your case, what I see a lot is probably even worse than this, meaning you'll get a lead and the effort to follow up with those leads is only applied a day or two after that happens. Okay. Interest is a perishable commodity. If they're interested right now, doesn't mean they'll be interested tomorrow. And you might think, well, how qualified does that make them? Well, honestly, the thing that you're wasting and that you're not doing right up front is you're not really showing them that you're trustworthy or credible. You're not. Okay. The follow-up process is more important than you can realize. In fact, this book is 100% about the follow-up process. Every single page is dedicated to the follow-up process. I didn't guess this stuff. That's just what it is. Okay. 85% of your sales of your new patients are going to come after the 5th to 12th contact. So that means if you don't get to that point to where you're making those amount of touches, you're not going to get 85% of the results. Okay. It's math. Now, the sad reality is again, I've seen this in hundreds of clinics where the follow-up process is neglected, not understood, whatever the case may be. And those things are wasted right out of the gate. But I want to show you what happens when the pros step in. Okay. This is Jen. Okay. Jen Jen follows up with leads using a script. She qualifies them. I should say pre-qualifies them with a script. She builds trust for you with a script. She doesn't guess. And she knows how to build value with a script. This is important. Jen is not a call center. She never wings it. She understands marketing, knows how to build value, and knows how to fill your practice with patients. Jen is what we call at PatientStream a brand response marketer. Okay. Trust me, you want Jen. Okay. Absolutely. You want Jen. Now I want to stop here for just a second. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop share. Let's see here. Before we move any further. Okay. Where is my cursor? There it is. I want to go ahead and just turn this over. I've got the screen back up. When it comes to filling your practice with qualified patients, what is keeping you from doing that? What is the main thing that is keeping you from doing that? Go ahead, use the chat. Let me go ahead and pull that up. I'm happy to bring you on as well. Okay, so I got the chat open. I see time and again, when people start with PatientStream, we can plug them into marketing that's working. We can get them going. And then two things can happen. One, we can give you the ability to follow up with those people yourself. Or two, we can use our team to do it. And all of a sudden, boom, everything changes. So yeah, Dr. Ismail, my staff doesn't know the details of this service. That's right. It is an acquired skill set. It's not something that you're just going to walk up and all of a sudden you know how to do. It does take some training. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get back into this. Right. Share. And then, all right. Oh, can you guys see that chat on the screen? Okay.
No, we can't see it. You're good.
Okay. I was going to say it's like right in the middle of my screen. So I will leave it there. That way I can now see what you guys are saying. Okay. So when this is Jen, we talked about Jen. She's amazing. All right. So how can PatientStream help you? Okay. I want to kind of sum up what we've gone through. Okay. And what we do. All right. So first and foremost, we have dozens of qualified marketing campaigns. Okay. Things that are built around that qualified marketing formula. We're improving them all the time. We're coming up with new things. That's what we really do. That's where we want to shine. Okay. We also give all of our people who take us on for our full service, we give them a trained brand response marketer. Okay. So you instantly adopt a qualified team member, right? This is a skill set that, man, it's hard. It's not easy to get. Okay. To turn leads into patients is not an easy thing to get. And we understood that. Okay. And so we wanted to make sure that we provided that for you. It's not a call center, you guys. Don't think of this as a call center. And you don't want to do that because instead of just calling your leads, they understand your business. They know chronic pain clinics. They do reactivation campaigns. They think of your clinic like they're in your clinic and their job is to fill it with patients. Okay. I literally wrote the book on this, you guys. Okay. So when it comes to patient stream, we give you qualified leads and a trained system, and you can stop guessing. All right. That's the big thing is if something hasn't worked for you in the past and you can't necessarily put your finger on why isn't that working? Well, I'm guessing today has been very enlightening. You've probably learned a lot of things, but the fact is there are objective things. So things like the qualified lead formula, 1% click-through rate, 10 to 20% opt-in rate. And then there's things that are subjective or artistic, skillful. And that comes through training, repetition. And that is why we have a team of brand response marketers that help our clients. So let's go ahead and recap real quick. So right now at this point, we know, actually, I'm going to go ahead and move this because I'm having a hard time seeing my own slides now. All right. We know how to get qualified leads and why we need qualified leads. Okay. We know how to build value. That's a big thing. Okay. That's something that we must get when we're doing, when somebody doesn't know us, when they're a lead, when they're out there in our town and they don't know how we can help them, we have to build value. We also understand the importance of scripting and how bad we need a gen in our practice. We know that. Okay. So what don't we know? Let's go ahead and we'll take a minute. We're going to go ahead and answer any questions that at this point you have. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one more time. I'm also going to hit pause. All right. Great questions and great comments, everybody. Let me see here. Share screen. There we go. Yeah, thanks for your questions. All right. Let's get into the meat here. Okay. You guys, has this been valuable so far? I think from the comments and everything, I think we're getting a lot of great feedback. So that's awesome. But what is missing? Yes, thank you. What is missing? Well, it's really two things. One, how much does it even cost to work with Patient Stream? And then two, we talked about how to convert these leads into cases worth 3,000 plus. Now, 3,000 honestly is the bottom of the equation here. So how do we do it for even more? Well, if you're interested in knowing more, throw something in the chat. Let me know you're there, and we'll get on to how much does Patient Stream cost and how do we convert these leads into cases worth 3,000 plus. Grab the chat. Let me know that you're there. I'm asking for engagement, guys. I don't want to just be here all by myself. So let's keep going. All right. We got chats coming in. There we go. All right. So first and foremost, today we're talking about our Patient Stream Done For You program, our Done For You marketing program. Here's what we give you when we do this, guys. Okay. Your very own dedicated brand response marketer. That's one. Over 20 niches. Okay. With qualified lead campaigns, just like we talked about in the Q&A, month-to-month contracts, and awesome tracking software. We don't lock you into anything long-term, and we show you where you're at and how things are working. Plus amazing support, educated partners, and trusted results. So when you're with Patient Stream, you get proven niche marketing. You get all those awesome qualified lead campaigns, just like you saw. You get a brand response marketer, and you get all of that for just $19.97 a month. Now, if you wanted to just have a Jen, a part-time person who followed up with leads, that alone would cost you more than $19.97 a month. Okay. You're getting incredible value for $19.97. We do have a one-time onboard fee of $9.97, but you guys, this is an absolute bargain. Again, if you had somebody with the skills that Jen has, that Jen's team has, this is a bargain. It will absolutely change the way that your practice gets leads. So if you sign up for a demo today, I'm going to give you guys something that I think will excite you. I think it's good. I mean, I like to save money. If you like to save money, I think it's a fit. So if you sign up for a demo today, okay, and then you decide to sign up, I will waive $500 off of your onboarding fee. You'll save $500 just by scheduling your demo today. All right. So at this point in time, here's what I want you to do. Don't leave the training. We're not done yet. But if you want to have a demo, right now is your time to open up a new tab. Go to mypatientstream.com/demo. Heather, can you put the link into the chat, please? That way people can click on it too. And go there, open up a window and schedule your demo today so you can save that $500. All right. And I will take any questions. I feel like we just did a Q&A. So if you guys don't need any questions, then we've got something else for you here. But I definitely want to make sure that we don't do that until the people who want the demo go over and grab the demo. So let me just check the, I'm going to check the chat here real quick to see where we're at. All right. Okay. So the demo, is there any questions before we move forward?
Looks like you did get one question in transition, Sam. Is your stem cell doctor friend / client doing better these days? Do you know what he tweaked or specifically chose for that niche subject?
Is your stem cell doctor friend client doing better these days? Is it, I'm guessing this was from the example early in the webinar about the knee decompression offering. If that's the case, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't finish the story. So we went and we did the instead of marketing for stem cells, we started marketing for knee decompression services. And that thing went gangbusters. In fact, that particular offer is still in our, is one of our, we call them click campaigns. And that thing still produces at a qualified lead output like nothing else. It's one of our best clinics. It's absolutely awesome. So opt-in is a term, Dr. Ismail, that refers to when a lead gives you their name, phone number, and email. They have to opt in to you giving them a phone call. That's what an opt-in means. Okay. Any other questions? The link is in there. Heather put it in there. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing again. I want to get to this last part of this presentation. All right. So questions. All right. Oh yeah. What about how to convert these qualified lead cases into 3,000 plus? Well, you know what's really interesting? I've been in this business for a long time, okay? And I've seen practices who have come and gone, okay? And I've seen people really struggle. In fact, it seems like it's a weekly occurrence where I will talk with a doctor or a clinic manager with the responsibility of, making practices more profitable, which, by the way, having a profitable practice is not a bad thing. It's absolutely you owe it to yourself. You have a fiduciary duty to both yourself, to your patients, to your clients, to everybody to be as profitable and ethical, of course, as possible. But I have noticed that most people in the situation where they're like, hey, listen, I hear about everybody having these phenomenal results, but I can't figure this out. And so they'll go and they'll hire a coach or something like that. But it's one thing to have somebody tell you over the phone or even come to a training like this. It's one thing to learn from a situation like this. It is an entirely different thing to have somebody show you how to do that. Okay. And today, one of the key things that I wanted to share with you guys today is, and actually do for you guys today is share with you or give you some time with a mentor of mine, somebody who has been a mentor and somebody who I've seen actually do some of the most phenomenal things in practice. Okay. I'm talking about a person who consistently converts leads into patients like nobody's business. I can send him his clinic's leads and boom, those turn into patients like nothing else. Okay. 2, I've seen him go into a practice that was seemingly struggling. Somebody who thought, well, that doesn't work in our area. I've seen him go in, boom, right out of the gate, fix it. Show them right how to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce you guys to my really good friend. His name is Dr. Sonny Gill. Okay. This is him. I met Sonny in Kitsap County in Kingston Crossing Wellness. He was a doctor, a chiropractor over there. I met him there when I got my start in helping practices grow, getting new patients. He was the person who mentored me and who showed me how to do this. And before I give him the time, I want to just share one 2-minute story. I remember my very first experience with Sonny, and he had said, this is a little bit of backstory, so I won't get into that, but I was on a ride along with him, if you want to call it that. And we got on the ferry. We were living in Seattle, both of us at the same time at the time. And we got on the ferry, we went over to Seattle, and we were doing a consult with a doctor who lived in downtown Seattle. And he actually lived on like the 5th or 6th floor of this high-rise building in downtown Seattle. We got on the elevator, we go up, and as soon as we get there, Sonny like beelines it. He says hi to this doctor's name was Dr. Danny. He says, hi, Dr. Danny, and he beelines it right across the clinic to where the computer was. And I was like, oh, so surprised by how this, normally you stop, you say, hello, how's things going, whatever. And we didn't do that. We went in, he goes, hey, Dr. Danny, this is Sam. Let's go ahead and check your stats. So we went over there, we checked his stats. He took about 2 minutes. He went through the whole thing. He goes, okay, this, and we went through a list of all these people. And he goes, it looks like you left about $2,800 in services on the table today that you would have had. And so they went through it. Sonny showed him how to do it, all that kind of stuff. And as I was sitting there, I was just thinking, did he miss $2,800 of revenue for his clinic today? Like, I was so confused by this. We walk out of the clinic when we're away from I don't want, Dr. Danny to think I'm an idiot. So we walk out of the clinic and I said to Sonny, I'm like, did he really lose $2,800 in his practice today? He goes, he lost more. I didn't want to make him feel bad. So I was blown away by it. And that was my first real experience. That was my very first ride along with Sonny. So he definitely knows what he's talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here. I've got Sonny on the call with us today.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, buddy. All right. Let me go ahead and go there. So I've got Sonny on the call with us today. I wanted to, Sonny, first, I wanted to turn some time over to you. I know you're doing some pretty, what I think what you're doing to help docs right now is what nobody's willing to do, because it would make them vulnerable. And what you do, I think, is absolutely phenomenal. So why don't you go ahead and just share with us, some of what you're doing, and then we'll open it up to questions or however you want to do this.
Yeah. So Sam, currently what I do now is I work with offices that I help them with everything if it comes to new patient marketing, if it's bringing people in the door. But what I really excel at is we call it the reg cycle, getting patients signed up on a care plan. It doesn't matter if you're just a regular chiropractic office, if you have acupuncture, if you have regenerative medicine, if you have decompression, if you have laser therapy. A lot of doctors don't have that confront. They're too scared to ask their patients for money. And it's a fixed idea that I train doctors on getting past. And once they get past it, they're able to collect. And a lot of times there's no magic thing. You have to teach the doctor the exact scripts. You have to teach them exactly how to present the care plan. and they just have to do it. Like, example would be, it was, I've been recently working with a doctor in LA, and to him, collecting money from patients is the worst thing he could possibly do. Is like the worst thing he could do. I said, well, you have to do this anyway. And we trained and we trained and we trained, and he did it anyway. And he wasn't smooth. There's nothing smooth about the way he did it. But I'd say 50% of his patients signed up on care plans, $3,000 or more. So he got it. It was real to him, and he was able to basically make more money in 1 or 2 days than he did in a month, because he was selling higher dollar packages. And from that point on, he was able to really get it, increase his confront, and get better and better and better. That's what it's all about, is you have to have the confront. You have to do it. If there's no way around that. You have, no one's gonna, come to your office every single day, grab you by the hand, and and make you do it. You have to take that, take that first step and learn all the different protocols and all the different scripts you need to learn to educate a patient on exactly what they need to say.
Yeah. It's funny, Sonny, because before I started doing the marketing side of this, which, by the way, the reason I got into this marketing is because Sonny, when we would go on consulting, he would say to me all the time, man, if we could just figure out this new patient marketing, man, if we could just figure out this new patient marketing. It was like the reticular activator. My brain started tuning into all these marketing things. Okay, maybe I should get good at this. I don't know. And that's what ultimately led me here. But I want to talk, Sonny, about, you've run and sold very successful practices. And we're talking about to the tune of, 7 figures, like lots of money, very profitable. I think pretty much every doctor wants to have a practice that maybe maybe they don't need to make $1 million, $2 million a year, but they want to have a practice that makes really comfortable profits, that provides them freedom. So talk to me about, when you're working with a doctor who's not getting that, talk to me about how you catapult them, because I've seen you do it in very quick timeframes. Talk to me about your process and about what you're looking for and who really fits what you're offering.
Right. I mean, the formula is simple. If you see 8 new patients a week, that's enough to have $1 million office. That's all it takes, is 8. And some offices, if they have a good new patient cycle, new patient script, they're able to get them into the office. Or there's some of those offices that just organically, they just rank well in their city. They're going to have 5 to 10 new patients every week. Then it might even be less. And it also depends on, if you're billing insurance, if you're not billing insurance. What I always do is I figure out exactly where their problem is. And usually it's all 3 things. Number 1 is bringing new people in the door. Number 2 is retaining them. There's no system for retaining them. They're basically just paying the visit by visit game. And number 3 is getting them closed on high dollar plans for services that they need. If it's decompression, acupuncture, chiropractic, laser therapy, you want to have 3 to 4 good cash service centers in your office. You can't just rely on insurance. I know there's some states out there that reimburse extremely well, but those days are starting to change. And in most states, the reimbursements don't pay out well. So it comes down to having a right game plan in place. Once you have that, that's the key. And you mentioned earlier, like how I help these offices out. I usually go on site for a couple of days. And what I do is I teach them on how to get the patient signed up on a care plan, the exact flow for the exam, the exact flow for the financial presentation, exactly what's said for the patient to either pull out their credit card, start their care plan, or they use some sort of patient financing like Care Credit to start their care plan.
Yeah. And like I said, I've seen you go in and do some amazing things. I've also heard, tell me recently about somebody. What I want to do is, we've got people on here and they're wondering right now, well, would this even be would working or consulting or talking with Sonny, would it be worth my time? Like, what type of clinics can actually get in there and crush it, and what kind of timeframes? So maybe talk to me about some of what you've seen. I mean, I know, in fact, you were telling me last week that or a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that you went into a clinic one day, boom, closed. I don't know how many paid, like $20,000 in care plans in one day, something like that.
So I was in Madison, Florida, a very, very small town, and the clinic did about $35,000 to $40,000 a month. In one day of 8 new patients, we closed $21,000 on the credit card machine. And the next day, we had another patient come and pay for their care. But we had, on that one day of training, the full day of training, we did 21,000, and that was just, and it was just basically putting a new system in place with his current patients and presenting care plans, small ones and big ones, but it added up to 21,000 for the day. Now, is he going to be able to do that every single day? Realistically, he could. If he had a new patient strategy that was bringing in, 10, 15 new ones a week, he could pull those numbers every single day. And there's offices that do that every single day. I used to have an office that I sold that did that every single day.
Yeah.
So you have to make it your reality. It's gotta be real to you. But the thing that's got to change is on top of educating patients so they come to the office, they make an appointment, and they show up. On top of that is you have to educate them, build that trust, so they pay for care. And then you have to do what you say. If you put them on a care plan, you have to create that change. If it's for their lower back, you have to get them out of pain. You have to get them back to their activities of daily living. So you have to have a solid product. And that's where the most doctors in our profession, that's not a problem. We have a superior product. I mean, there's very few professions on the planet that do what we do, that get the results that we do. That's the hardest part, which we have down. The easy part is what's hard for most doctors.
It's so crazy to me because there's people sitting out there right now that are with us in this meeting, or maybe we'll watch the replay, and they are thinking to themselves, well, my practice made $35,000 last month or thereabouts. I wonder if I could do something like that in a single day. And that wasn't an outlier. One of the reasons why I wanted Sunny to come on here today, and I was, kind of saying, hey man, would you just come on to this with me, please? Was that's not a unique story. I get stories like that now, maybe not $20,000 every time, but I hear stories all the time of 10,000, 15,000, 7,000, 9,000 in a single day, where you'll go in and you will do that for these clinics. And you've got people sitting here right now thinking, well, my practice right now is at 35,000. And you know what's crazy about that? I would venture to guess, my experience consulting with the clients that we had when we were working together is they're the same people that have had that exact same collections amount, thereabouts, for years. And nothing will ever change unless you figure out what Sunny's talking about. And as soon as you do, man, you can go from 35,000 to 60, 70,000, just like that. That's what's in between you. And here's what I'll say. I wanted Sunny to come on because what he would be offering, and then I'll let you finish up here, Sunny, and we'll take some questions. What he would be offering is not simply to just get on the phone with you and say, hey, do this, hey, do that, because that's coaching. And the problem with coaching is most of the time, you ever heard the phrase, those who can do, those who can't teach? I have found that to be the case. I have found that to be the case, that people know how to get 90% of the way to of their way to the result, but they can't actually come up with it. And so instead of figuring it out for themselves, they go and they start coaching because they know more than the person that they're coaching. And that to me is the big disconnect. Is instead of you coaching somebody, you almost apprentice them, mentor them. And that's to me what I've appreciated about you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll turn the time over to you, Sunny, to finalize. And then if people have questions, we can do that then. But any final words here, Sunny?
Nope, that's pretty much it. It was a great webinar. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, buddy. All right. So we are towards the end of the webinar. We can absolutely open it up to questions right now, and they don't have to be on chat. You can, I'm going to go ahead and pause this again. All right, guys. So in the chat is my email, sam@mypatientstream.com. If you've set up your demo, you're already scheduled. You'll come in and we'll hop on a demo call. If you have questions about Sunny or anything like that, shoot me an email at sam@mypatientstream.com. I'll connect you and Sonny the same way I did for Dan and Sonny, and anybody else who might see this and might feel like they are fit and might want to ask Sonny some questions. I mean, not only is Sonny a friend of mine and he brought me into the business, I owe a lot to him for that, but I would never, ever promote and support somebody who I didn't wholeheartedly put my stamp of approval on. And Sonny, I mean, what he's able to do for practices is magic. And I don't know any other way to do it or to say it other than that. Not to say you're a magician, but in some respects, he kind of seems like one to me. So
Thanks, Sam.
you've got Sam at mypatientstream.com. It's in the chat. You can copy and paste that. Other than that, Sonny, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. And we'll have, we've got some more trainings coming down the pipe, and I'm sure we'll have some more with Sonny as well. He might have some words of wisdom in the future. I'm guessing he does. So thanks for that, guys. And we will see you on the next webinar. See you guys.